Well, when we talk about children's mental health, I think there are a lot of misconceptions, a lot of myths surrounding it. We've got the Chief Naturopathic Medical Officer for the Canadian College of Naturopathic Medicine, Jonathon Prousky, here. A lot of people assume that you have to go straight to medicine, right? Under what circumstances would medicine be used to help a child with mental health issues?
Well, I'm going to take a more dogmatic or non-traditional approach. Okay. I mean, I'm a naturopathic doctor, so of course I'm into non-traditional ideas. But I think our whole system now of mental health has gone awry. I think, in fact, it's a little bit insane. Because when a child is in distress and a child is in need, we tend not to use creative solutions anymore in terms of how to help them and so on. What we're doing is we're quickly medicating our kids. And I think when you think about this whole paradigm of mental health and how important it is, the fact that our first option is medication, that, to me, is more alternative. In fact, what should be non-alternative, what should be considered the norm and the mainstream, should be more attention to the communities that the child is living in, how to de-stress the parents, how to incorporate better nutrition, better lifestyle, and just a much more comprehensive and holistic view of a child's mental health.
Well, some people might say, well, what's the problem with medication? And what are some of the problems in your mind?
Well, here's the thing. When you medicate a child, you teach a child that that he or she cannot be normal without a medication. It disempowers this child from thinking that he or she can cope and emotionally regulate. So, to me, it's just not a good thing to do right away.
Are there any physical side effects?
Oh, yes. I mean, when a child is medicated, let's look at ADHD, for example. Stimulant drugs make a child more into solitary play. It makes a child less likely to be sociable. And what it really does, in a sense, is it doesn't correct any biochemical problem in the brain. It induces a biochemical problem in the brain. And as a result of inducing a change in the brain, this child now has gone from being his or her typical self to being more subdued. Now, of course, that's seen as a benefit because we want a child in distress to just behave and be quiet in the classroom. But ultimately, I don't think it's a good idea. We should be giving them good nutrition, good education in terms of how to emotionally regulate, how to deal with people, how to manage stress. And of course, we should offer them nutritional supplementation or other measures.
All right, so if we're talking about nutrition, give me some examples of how you would make a change in a child who comes to you looking for help.
Well, the change first begins in the home. They have to have good mentorship and good role models. 50% of a child's caloric intake comes from sugar and unhealthy fat. I mean, right off the bat, that's not going to help a developing brain. The developing brain needs good nutrition. Whatever we put on our plate gets into our brain. So our brain is this metabolic hog. It needs good nutrition. And unfortunately, we're not feeding our kids good nutrition at all. And as a result, their brains aren't getting optimized. And as a result, when they're under stress or when they're trying to focus and concentrate and manage their emotions, unfortunately, that whole fertile ground is being changed. And as a result, they just don't have the biochemistry there to support all the needs that they have on a day-to-day basis.
So right at the beginning, you'd say, cut the sugar.
Of course. I mean, we know that just too much sugar alters certain systems in the brain. And as a result of that alteration, it's going to make it hard for a child to focus and pay attention and just be able to absorb what he or she is hearing in the classroom.
And for lifestyle changes, what would you recommend there?
Well, exercise, go outside. I mean, it's to me insane that we are in a world now where children are so used to this rapid-fire culture, and the majority of them would rather watch TV or play a video game or do something as opposed to being outside. There's nothing that brings me more joy is when I've come to pick up my daughter from school, or my wife tells me my daughter will attack those monkey bars. I mean,
nice. Being
outside for her is the greatest thing of them all, like exercising, moving her body. I mean, that's what we're supposed to do. Why are we lost our way? I mean, why aren't we doing that anymore? We're just pushing these kids into just being someone who can just pay attention and do as they're told, and then there's no real outlets for them anymore. They need to run around. They need to be kids again.
Tell me about the mindful therapy approach.
Well, this is fantastic. Mindful is about being mindful to the needs of our children. And I love the picture because you see an unhappy kid when you open it up.
So, and then a big blank space there.
Yeah, you see all the different diet, nutrition, lifestyle, education, and it's basically, you can access it on the internet. mindfulcharity.ca, and it's about bringing parents the information they need to empower themselves and to empower their kids to be healthy without medication. It's beyond medication.
What feedback do you get from parents? Are they seeing the change in their children when they make these changes?
The feedback's tremendous.
Yeah?
I mean, of course it makes sense. What I'm talking about is very logical. There's nothing illogical about wanting our children to be as healthy as they can be. So parents, I mean, I cannot tell you how many parents I see in my practice whose kids are in distress. When we talk about all these things, it just resonates with them. It makes sense. So this is a charity that's about bringing this information to the masses, about making people more aware of mental health in children, how important it is. I mean, 1 in 5 Canadians will develop a mental health issue in their lifetime, and children are no exception. So this is really about educating people, providing them with a resource where they can go, and giving them the tools necessary to make empowered choices.
What about doctors? Are they on board? And teachers, are they seeing the difference?
Well, on our board of this charity, we have medical doctors, not just people like me who are naturopathic doctors. So we have a very eclectic bunch who are very dedicated to the wellness and health of children. And our goal is to to reach teachers, communities, parents, schools, you name it. It's a limitless goal. And everybody should be interested, because what is our most precious gift?
Children.
Of course.
Fill the gap, the mindful gap. That's so great. Thank you so much.
You.
Mindfulcharity.ca for all the information you need.